All right, and good morning, and welcome into the Vegas Square Morning Show here on this Monday, an overreaction Monday, if you will. We had another great day, a great weekend in football, guys. We are presented by 12 Ounce Sports and Dingo TV. Guys, make sure you check us out on one or both of those networks/channels. 12 Ounce Sports, you can see it right there, 12ouncesports.com, or you can check them out on X at 12OZ Sports. We are also presented by mybookie.ag. You guys can see that right up there in the corner. The best deposit bonus I have found in online sports books. It's up to $1,000 first time deposit bonus with using the promo code 12OZ Sports. Guys, it was a hell of a weekend. We had some awesome games. Of course, we had a potential game of the year, which we'll talk about in Alabama and Georgia. But I wanted to start the show with last night's game, the Sunday night game. The Bills have been firing high on all cylinders. Of course, they made the dreaded number one team in my top five curse. I think this is starting to become like a Madden curse. I swear, everybody except the Chiefs it's a carousel of teams at this point. If you enter my top five, buyer beware. Actually, I guess the Vikings did well as well too. So, but the Bills, the Bills made the number one spot there and promptly get beat by the Ravens, who made a statement game. A statement win against the Bills. When they can play a complete game like this, 35-10, I think the Ravens are an unstoppable force. The problem is this is just not consistency. I know that Derrick Henry's had a great 2 weeks. Can he sustain it for the rest of the year? I hope so. I love watching Derrick Henry run, but Lamar Jackson didn't do too much, didn't have to win the entire game. The defense played well, and it was a complete victory. I mean, how much more can you say with that? You beat a 4-0 team, or excuse me, a 3-0 team by that many points. You beat the potential now current MVP, which I know that things will shake up after this week, but at the time he was the MVP betting favorite in Josh Allen. This is a scary game for the Bills because this is a game where they think, okay, well, they beat the Jags, they beat the Cardinals, but all of a sudden the Ravens, you have to go down and play Baltimore. This is a preview of a potential playoff game, and you get curb stomped. So, what do you guys take of this from a win by the Ravens and this kind of loss by the Bills? All I know I take of it is my top five. It means nothing anymore. And the Jaguars are probably watching that game saying, thank you, Baltimore, for returning the favor for what they did to us last, I believe it was Thursday night when the Bills won 47-10 against the Jags. So, like I said, if the Baltimore Ravens play this way, they are an unstoppable team. And they are the team that I have been picking for the last 2 years, not this year, to win a friggin' Super Bowl. I know nothing means anything in week 4 to a common fan who says Lamar won't win the big one. And I'm in that camp. Lamar can't win the big one. I've always said the Ravens, if they win a Super Bowl, it may be in spite of Lamar Jackson, not because of Lamar Jackson. Well, this kind of proves my point here. I mean, Lamar had an okay game. I mean, statistically, nothing was spectacular, but they didn't have a lot of turnovers. They didn't make a lot of mistakes. They played great defense. They ran the football. I mean, Derrick Henry is a guy that Lamar has been looking for years. No disrespect to Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, who really can never get on the field, but no disrespect to the guys who have tried to come in here and be Lamar Jackson's running back, but they're not Derrick Henry. I mean, Derrick Henry is, kind of on the back nine of what probably will be a Hall of Fame career, I think, when all's said and done. So this is a dangerous Ravens team. We wanted to count them out after 0-2, losing to the Raiders at home, such an ugly play. But I think Sammy Action said it best. The Ravens play up and down to whichever opponent is coming into their building or wherever they're going. You look at it, they played up to the Chiefs. They didn't win, but they played up. They got up for that game with the Chiefs. Then they played down to the Raiders and lost the friggin' game. And then up to the Cowboys and up to the Bills. I mean, they had to figure out a way to play up to everybody. So that's my advice to you, John Harbaugh, because Lord knows you need it, right? You don't know what you'd be doing without my advice. Just kidding, anyways. But that's my early thoughts from Sin City. A statement win by the Ravens. Hats off to you guys. You are back in the fold and probably back in my top 5. I know they've stayed there for Mike, so maybe Mike's on to something here. But guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. On the other side, we're going to recap this weekend in college football and, of course, in the NFL. You guys stick and stay. It's the Vegas Square Morning Show.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them.
Yeah.
Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money. And we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember,
For years, we've connected fans to the game. But just like athletes and leagues, we must evolve and grow. This fall, 12 Ounce Sports is taking our game to the next level. Montana, we'll see you in October.
All right, and welcome back into the Vegas Square Morning Show here on this Monday, joined by the producer, Michael Carvelis. And gonna get your thoughts here early on that big win by the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. I mean, like I said, the Ravens play up and down to opponents. It's got to be frustrating to be a Ravens fan in that spot sometimes. But what are your takeaways of this this Sunday Night Football matchup between the Bills and the Ravens?
It was a crazy good game. For one side, obviously, I guess I was kind of sold on Buffalo despite not putting them in the top spot, but I'm glad I stuck on Baltimore in there. And the reason I say that is because I have a surprise for you, Aaron.
Oh?
It's where good teams go to die.
I mean, yeah, you're right. The Steelers fell. The Chiefs, I mean, three of my teams won, and one of them's pending, and they could steal an upset here in Detroit tonight. So
I just thought it was fun little, my bad.
yeah, that's a fair assessment. Thanks for the update. I'm gonna, it might not change as much as I initially thought it would. Teams will move, but I think if the Seahawks can win tonight, the standings might not look too bad. The Bills will stay in my top 5. I think the Ravens will have to enter the chat though.
Little preview.
All right, college football recap. Let's talk about it here a little bit. A couple of big games. Obviously, the Georgia Bama instant classic. Bama wins with a late 70-something yard touchdown by a 17-year-old kid who looked like a freaking joystick running around over there. It was a great game. Didn't start out as a great game, but it ended up being a great game, instant classic. The fourth quarter is one of the best I've seen in a long time. And I think we might have either a new co-favorite or a new Heisman favorite in Jalen Milroe. I know Cam Ward had a great statistical game as well. They almost lost to Virginia Tech. But we have almost new, my preseason college football Heisman pick on the Vegas Square Gambling Show. Jalen Milroe is now going off at plus 225 to win the Heisman. What are your thoughts on this game?
I tuned in starting in the late third quarter, and thank God I did. It's one of those games.
Yeah.
I was like, it's one of those games where I noticed they were sticking around. I'll be honest, I was napping for the first half. But when I was one of those things when you tune in, you saw a part of sports history. It's like, where were you when that was happening? It's like, I know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, shout out to Kalen DeBoer, the head coach of the Crimson Tide. During the broadcast, Kirk Herbstreit and Chris Fowler were wondering, hey, they're at that spot with a new regime in Alabama. Even though this guy's been a head coach at Fresno State and Washington, they're at a spot where do they be conservative? Do they attack? And right when they say that, they find Ryan Williams, a 17-year-old, right back at Georgia. I loved it. You talk about keep your foot on the gas. And maybe for a time Alabama didn't do that. Maybe that's why Georgia came back. But Carson Beck had a lot to do with that. But I do think Georgia, I think Alabama, shout out to them for staying on the throats. And to me, this game is better. Someone mentioned to me about Alabama LSU in 2019. This game's better than that because it ended right at the goal line. It ended with an interception by a player who had gotten beat the previous play, and then whatever. had gotten beat the previous play, and then fooled Carson Beck and jumped the route the next play. It was absolutely astonishing. Shot Kalen DeBoer, shot Ryan Williams, and wow, what a game!
Yeah, I mean the national title game, Georgia Alabama, probably was the most exciting out of all of.
Yeah, I mentioned Tua. Yeah.
Well, the Tua pass, the Hurt, everything with Hurts getting benched, blah blah blah. But you're right, this has got to go up there. I mean, they're creating such a fun atmosphere, and I hate to praise the SEC, but you got to give flowers when it's time to give flowers. Wanted a couple shout outs here that I forgot. Obviously, first and foremost, don't forget to sign up for the Best Bet subscription service from 12 Ounce Sports, $5.99 a month. You see it scrolling down on the bottom. It'll scroll throughout the entire show. So if you need the information, peep it down below. And of course, mybookie.ag, a $1,000 first time deposit bonus using promo code 120Z Sports. I wanted to shout out the U.S. team in the President's Cup, defeating the international team. I know golf, but if you guys are a golf fan, it was actually a hell of a matchup. It was something enjoyable to watch. I caught the highlights. Tom Kim, the rivalry. These guys don't show this kind of emotion on the PGA Tour. So it was nice to see for sure.
So I'm glad you mentioned the USA winning something, because also the women in box lacrosse won the inaugural championship in the World Box Lacrosse Championship for the women's side. And the men, this tournament's been going on since 2003 for the men's side. They have never finished above bronze medal, and they got a silver medal yesterday, even though Canada got the gold. So big shout out. Yeah. Whoa.
This is me waving the flag. USA. USA. Shout out to the USA this weekend for box lacrosse and golf. Yeah. All right. Right on. Back into the college football recap. Penn State, Illinois. We had, I would call it a snoozer, but it was an intensive snoozer of a game. 21-7. Penn State escapes with the victory, not the cover. Shout out. Won me some Tom Dietz money yesterday, courtesy of that. Sammy had them in his piggy bank as well. But kind of a snoozer in this one. Penn State did just enough. They're moving on. They're 4-0. Illinois, kind of an underdog story. I was really kind of getting on that bandwagon. Not saying they can't still make that Big Ten championship game, but they've got an uphill battle for sure. But to me, I didn't take a lot from this one in terms of really anything to take. I still don't know what to make of Penn State. They are such a wishy-washy team right now.
You know what? When I saw James Franklin as an 18-point favorite, I was like, are we aware that he does not like – I know the whole favorite thing Deeds talked about, but it's like Sammy. But it's like I don't understand. Like, what has he done in the Big Ten? Like, let's be real. Like, has he done anything? Has he beat any good teams? I can't remember him doing so. They always fall short. It's like Mark Richt at Georgia. It's like, when are you ever going to get over the hump, dude? You're praised for being what? A good coach? We need great over here. And he's not a great coach. I know they won, but winning by 14 on a whiteout, I'm good.
That's fair. I mean, it's always that troubled assessment is like, yeah, he's a good coach, not a great coach, but who else is out there that you're going to get that's going to be better? You know, it's a tough spot. Unless Nick Saban wants to come out of retirement, which would be silly. Ole Miss loses. I finally put him in my top 5, and they friggin' lose. I thought I went reverse jinx on the Kentucky-Georgia situation and thought Ole Miss's high-flying offense would kill them. Boy, I was wrong. They had a chance to tie at regulation, and they missed the game-tying field goal. And Lane, I've never been a Lane Kiffin guy, and I finally started to believe, and here it is.
Yeah, and I want to believe that Kentucky's a good team, but the whole reason I thought Ole Miss was actually going to cover, and I loved your piggy bank bet, was that they do have the offense. Like, I like Carson Beck, and although he played well against Alabama, I think Georgia has one of the most conservative offenses sometimes. They're almost as bad as Michigan sometimes, and it blows my mind. Like, they do more with Stetson Bennett than they do with other quarterbacks. I'm like, what are we doing here? Kirby Smart let Justin Fields walk. That's another story. But it's like, why can Ole Miss not be this? Again, I don't think Kentucky's that good, but they have played 2 SEC juggernauts very well. Then again, next time you tail Kentucky, they're probably going to fall flat on their face. It's so freaking weird.
Oh, betting is hard. All right, other notable wins. Texas over Mississippi State. They clobbered them. Miami, we talked about, survived on a Fail Mary. We can chat about that. I mean, I thought
that
he caught
was
the ball.
wild.
I thought he caught it.
In real time, I thought he did. It's one of those ref things. I do think the people turning off the lights in the stadium made that worse than what it had to be. I don't know why there wasn't even a call in the field until at that point. And it's like, then like the refs get no touchdown. I was like, well, the lights are going off. Like, what are we doing, stadium people? This isn't the Super Bowl where we just don't review things at the end. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, you called it a touchdown on the field. Nothing led me to believe. Exactly. Honestly, nothing led me to believe one way or the other. So, I mean, if you call it a touchdown on the field, doesn't it have to stand? Maybe that's just my bias. I want Miami to lose because misery loves company with Florida State. OMG.
Jesus, mother. Yeah, that was rough. I'm sorry for your loss, by the way.
Oh, it's all good. This season, a lost season, obviously. And, of course, UCF lost to Colorado. I don't want to say I called it because I feel bad. But Gus just doesn't win these games. And
I will
Travis
say
Hunter, Heisman candidacy. That's
got to stop. That's got to stop.
I don't know, man. This kid has a game not every game, but pretty much almost every game. He deserves to be in the conversation. I mean, Charles Woodson did it. And if this kid starts returning punts, it's over. Hand him the trophy.
First Heisman to win 6 games. Give it to him. All right. I will say this, though, about Miami. You saw the Cam Ward play. That was another one I tuned in too late. I'm like, holy cow. I've seen guys break tackles or sacks. The way he spun around and shoveled to the guy, shout out to the tight end, I think, who made a great play as well after the catch. But Miami won that game because Cam Ward was awesome, not just because of that late whatever call that was.
Sure. I mean, they were down the entire game. He willed them back. No doubt. Other wins, Ohio State over Michigan State, Oregon over UCLA. Utah goes down to Arizona, number 10 team down. Michigan beats Minnesota 27-24. USC beats Wisconsin. LSU smokes South Alabama. Notre Dame against Louisville. Notre Dame wins. Clemson with another. I mean, we forget about Clemson so much now after that first game. Iowa State.
How good have they looked since that game? Wow.
Very, 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 very good. Yeah. Kansas State, top 25 matchup, beats Oklahoma State. Oklahoma with a walk-off against Auburn. BYU with an upset with Baylor. Texas A&M wins, and Boise State wins as well. That's your top 25.
Ashton Jeanty's another one.
Is that how you say it?
Jeanty camp. It's like, I think it's Genty. I heard the broadcast. I think it's Genty.
Dude's running for like 200 a game on average.
Oh, you see the one run that went viral? We had NFL players calling him an NFL running back already. It was insane. That was a great run.
I saw on Twitter or on X somewhere, somebody said he's a top 5 running back in the NFL and he's still in college.
Devon Achane was singing his praises. I'm telling you, if you saw the run, he broke like 5 or 6 tackles and was going full speed. It's ridiculous.
259 yards and 4 touchdowns as they beat Washington State. So.
And Georgia Southern dominated Georgia State. I gave a free play on Twitter, and that was the one that hit.
Great job, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, moving into the NFL. All right, Vikings beat Packers 31-29. They were up 28-0 at one point. They definitely let the Packers come back in this one. My takeaway from this one, and I understand the Packers came back, and everybody's like,
Right.
4 turnovers, blah blah blah. But every time I watch a play in this game, because I can't stand there and stare at the TVs. But every time I watched a play in this game, Jordan Love was throwing off his back foot. It seemed like that was just the entire game for the Packers.
The Vikings lead the league in quarterback hits and sacks and all that stuff. And I'm not going to be on the Daniel Jones thing. I'm just saying they have. If we're being honest, and not forget the Daniel Jones thing. Since they felt sorry for him, Brock Purdy, C.J. Stroud, Jordan Love, this defense, Brian Flores is cooking. It also goes to show you how bad Miami actually is on defense, considering he does that right away with Minnesota. I'm just saying.
Well, he might not be cooking himself a new job or a new head coaching job after suing the league. Steelers get handed their first loss to your Colts. You wanna do a victory dance here? There you go.
Oh, I will. Anthony Richardson. I think he wanted to come back. It's only a hit pointer for those wondering. That was news this morning that he will not miss extended time. Joe Flacco played well again. What a resurgence! It feels like he has played. I know he's got the one playoff run everyone talks about. Since that time, being a backup, he's played better than when he was a starter with the Ravens, if we're being honest. With the Browns, was awesome with the Browns, was awesome through the last 3 quarters with the Colts. I mean, I'm just saying.
With the Jets, too. I think they had a little run with the Jets, too. I will disagree with that because pre-Super Bowl run, he was like, I feel like he was like one of the best road playoff quarterbacks in NFL history. But it seems like he won that Super Bowl and he was like, peace. Get the contract, get out. I don't blame him.
Jonathan Taylor got hurt again, but it's worse than Anthony Richardson, but not a lot.
Yeah, AR. We'll see what happens here with that one. But they've got in Flacco we trust if things go south. Denver getting a nice road victory, 10-9. Zerline has a kick at the end to tie it. I'm sorry, this was bad coaching in my opinion. Whoever, Nathaniel Hackett, Robert Saleh, Aaron Rodgers, whoever you want to put this blame on, but to have one of the best quarterbacks in the game and you're the best you could come up with is leaving Greg Zerline, an iffy kicker, a 50-yarder to win the game. I'm sorry, this is terrible maneuvering. I mean, if you're going to leave it for Greg Zerline, it's got to be in the 30 range at this point in his career.
You're killing me. It's Zerline, not Loin, but we're going to give you credit on that one.
Greg the leg.
Yeah, Greg the leg, a better one. I've been first to the Robert Saleh train. We knew Nathaniel Hackett was average. We knew Aaron Rodgers was 40 years old. Robert Saleh, hey, I'm just saying, he made Zach Wilson look like a train wreck, has managed that whole situation terribly. Even if you think Zach Wilson sucks or not, I'm just saying, this dude cannot coach. I'm sorry. I've said it for a couple years now. He is bad. And Bo Nix threw for -7 yards in the first half. And he's threw for like 70 for the entire game. Congrats to the Jets, man.
There's still got to be some. There's still got to be some here on Aaron Rodgers in that offense. Sure. 9 points, no touchdowns. I'm sorry.
Sure.
Chiefs beat the Chargers. Rashee Rice looks like he's probably done for the year.
ACL.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes took out his number 1 receiver. Made the tackle and
for people that are going off about like the whole situation with the car, it's like, guys, we got to stop doing that. It's like when Brett Favre got diagnosed with Parkinson's or announced it, it's like, oh, this is terrible. Guys, it's okay to be human beings sometimes and not we all have sins. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not saying these guys aren't bad people. We got to stop saying, oh, that's what he gets. Come on, man.
That's to be fair. You brought up the Brett Favre thing. I saw somebody retweet like, even though I think he's a sack of shit, I don't wish this on anybody. It's like, you don't have to say that first part, man. If you believe he's a sack of crap, he's a sack of crap. Like, if you're going to send him well wishes, don't backhand compliment him.
I don't. It should be because we're all holy on Twitter. We're all Christians and we're all, we're all borderline Christians on Twitter. That was the first place that Christianity
was on X, right?
Yeah, that's great. But you're right. Chiefs get a big win. Chargers, that under 16.5 was a sweat, man. But boy, they got shut down. And shout out to the Chiefs who always find ways to win in games they shouldn't. They're
Definitely
doing
a,
great.
s-
It's
definitely a
incredible.
sweat after the first quarter. 10-0 freaking
Woo!
Chargers. Bucks beat the Eagles. The game to me wasn't even as close as the score indicated.
At
They
all.
just from start to finish. The Eagles are hurt, and they didn't utilize Saquon as they should, in my opinion. But I'll take the win for the Bucks here in this spot. Baker, baby, Baker's bacon.
Yeah, bake show, bake, like let him bake, all that good stuff. Nick Sirianni has been crucified once again. I know Nick Sirianni has looked bad the last couple of weeks. They were criticizing for like having not a lot of touches, and his answer was, in the first like 6 plays, we had like all these third downs, and I can't just keep on utilizing your guy. And I'm going to tell Eagles fans a little secret here. Saquon did this with the Giants. You run him 10,000 times for 2 yards each. You hope he breaks the 50-yarder, but until he does that, you look like crap. I will always say that. He helps us average with a random 40 or 50-yarder, but in this game he could not break one. So he looks like crap, and they couldn't run him anymore because they were down early. That's how it works. Don't blame Nick Sirianni for that crap. He has no vision.
I'm not going to blame Nick Sirianni. It's a team effort right now. I mean,
I'm not
Jalen Hurts was getting away with a lot too. He's turning the ball over at an alarming rate as
Yep.
well. Yeah, and then of course finish off here. Bengals, of course, get off the schneid. They are now 1-3 with a win over the Andy Dalton led Panthers. I was going to say the Andy Dalton led Bengals but that was a whole lifetime. It was a whole lifetime ago here. But let's get into these Monday night football games. The first one, Tennessee at Miami. Current line I'm seeing here, Miami -2.5, total 37 in this one.
37.
I have no interest in turning this game on, buddy. I have no interest in turning this game on. But if I have to take a shot in the dark here, I'm going to probably play the under in this spot. It's a primetime game, which traditionally they've gone under. We've got Will Levis and Tyler Huntley. Snoop Huntley, as he's now going to be affectionately called. Give me the under in this spot. I guess that's his nickname, but give me the under in this spot, under 37. I had it in a teaser that the freaking Washington and Arizona killed me by, I'm sorry, not Washington, Arizona. Steelers and Colts killed me by 1 point, 27-24 when I had the under 50.
Yeah, that was bad. Do me a favor. That was rough, actually, by the way. Shout out to my Colts. Under 34.5 gets you plus 113 on my bookie for that game.
There you go. Is that your play on this one?
Yeah, let's do an alternate spread. I'm an alternate total. I like it.
All right, Seattle and Detroit. This game's much more interesting. We've got 3-0 versus 2-1. Everybody's talking about how Detroit they're not playing up to par. It's like they're 2-1, man. That's fine. They're 2-1, and they lost their one game by 4 points to a Bucs team who did come in and smack them in the mouth. But they're currently the Detroit is a 4-point favorite, total 46.5 in this one. I kind of like Seattle catching the points on the road, but I do have a bet on this. It'll be my free bet of the day here in about 35, 40 seconds.
Let's give you some time for that. I'll just say I think Lions do cover the spread. I think Lions have played very well defensively, and yeah, they lost to the Buccaneers, who actually are pretty good. But I think Lions are playing their brand of football, which is ugly and get in your face. I love it.
This is not my free bet of the day, but I will sneak a little sprinkle on that plus 180 money line. Seattle comes in and gets a victory.
Oh,
Let's see what happens.
sure.
All right, guys, let's take a quick 30 seconds, let my bookie pay some bills here, and we'll be right back on the other side with my free bet of the day and to wrap up the show.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
All right, once again, welcome back here. Wrap up the show, Vegas Square Morning Show. You can find us, all things Vegas Square, including the gambling show, on X at Vegas Square TV. You can see it right up there on the top of the screen. Free bet of the day comes from that Seattle-Detroit game. And like I said, I kind of like Seattle to win this matchup. I'm going to play this. It's to finish a parlay in my real life, so I'm going to give it to you guys as a free bet of the day here. Jared Goff under 243.5 passing yards, currently going off at MyBookie at -119. There is another site that has under 246.5. So if you can find a better number, always an option. So guys, for Michael Carvelis, I am the Vegas Square host here, Aaron Crouch. Guys, enjoy your Monday, and we will see you guys tomorrow for Top 5 Tuesday.